Hello and welcome to the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Today we're going to be talking about the last Republican presidential debate for this year. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and we're going to be jumping into this subject right about now. Well, let me start off by saying that this stupid news media that moderates these things, they're just totally ridiculous. I have never seen such a bunch of unprofessional, agitating idiots. They're like bullies at a middle school or maybe in their case an elementary school. They're always asking these divisive questions, these idiotic questions, trying to sway the candidates away from the issues at hand and make them try to go on the attack of each other. Now, I must say that there is one candidate that stands out, leaps and bounds above the rest, and that's Ben Carson. He refuses to let them put him in that trick bag so that he goes around getting in the middle of or getting down in the mud pit, as he would say, with other candidates. I really admire that guy for that. He won't allow it. I mean, if they ask him a question, what do you think about what these two said as he did last night? He said, well, you have to ask them. I'm not getting in the middle of that. I really admire that guy for that. Now, once you move past these idiotic supposed journalists, then you kind of look at what the candidates did. The first four on the first stage, Huckabee, I think, reigned supreme. His name escaping me right now. Lindsey Graham. He's a showboater. I wouldn't vote for that guy for dog catcher, presidency of a dog catcher society. I just don't like him. He's flamboyant. He tries desperately to be funny. I think having him as a president would be a very dismal prospect. Now, Mike Huckabee, a little bit on the religious side, but I guess that's apropos because he's a preacher. But he had some very good ideas. He looked, somewhat presidential. And a few marks went up in my book for him. As I said before, it's a little too early for me to tell yet. I'm still out there doing my research as best I can based on the information provided. We know they're all muckety mucks. You put all of them in a bag, Democrats and Republicans, and shake them up. I don't know which one would fall out first, but we got to put somebody in there, and it's our job to do the best choosing that we can so that we don't end up with another year, 8 years, like we did this past with old bastard, and looking at slithery Clinton, just chomping at the bit and standing right in the threshold of the Democratic presidency nomination. We certainly don't want her in there. So, okay, back to these Republicans. Then we move on to the big stage. And let me just start off by saying, Jeb Tush, and you heard me right, folks. I said Tush, because that's what he is. I liken him to a butt. The thing you're probably sitting on right now. He's not a totally nasty butt, but yet he's a smelly butt. But nevertheless, a butt. I mean, he went after Trump last night in such a stupid way. Number one, his family has had more chances at the presidency than, well, I think they're right up there with the Rockefellers. No, not the Rockefellers, the Roosevelts. They had Franklin Delano and Teddy before him. So we've had old man Herbert Walker Bush. Then we had W, who came in there basically to vindicate his old shriveled up father, with the Desert Storm thing or whatever it was that he was involved in. It was somewhat unsuccessful. And now Jeb Tush, the younger brother, wants to have his little go at it. And like, he's so great, he's so wonderful. Hey, Jeb Tush, weren't you the one that when your brother W was running for president, didn't have to hold up the proceedings because they blamed you for, maybe illegally stuffing the ballot box, pal, or some kind of scandal. Wasn't that you? And a couple of other scandals that I won't take up time involving the name of Jeb Bush. So why don't you go and clean yourself up, pal, and stop trying to showboat and be something that you're not. Anyway, then there was Trump. A little more reserved Trump this time, except when he went to battle with old Tush. But he was a kinder, gentler Trump. Had some good ideas, and I wish they would quit misquoting the fella. Since Donald Trump's banning of Muslims. Get it right, you stupid news whores. He said a temporary ban until the United States and the powers that be can get their system together by which we could identify thoroughly who's coming into the country. He didn't say that there was just going to be a total ban. I would have said it, but Trump didn't. He said a temporary ban. Get your story straight, you twisted people. I'm trying to control my temper. Okay. And then he went on talking about the internet. Again, hit the nail right on the head, Donald, because I've been saying all along that this internet has gotten too crazy. You can't police it. The crooks are like 4 steps ahead of the supposed good guys as far as hacking and putting stuff on that shouldn't be on there, the whole 9 yards. So Donald was right on it again. Kasich, oh boy, what sugar truck hit him? Is he now the Republican version of Bernie Sanders and wants everybody to work together? Snarly Fiorina, I don't see her anything more than just the Republican version of Slithery Clinton, and seemingly she just wants to go after Slithery. That's seemingly her makeup. She wants to get in there and just do battle with Slithery Clinton, and if she can maybe be a president for the United States, that may be something she'd want to do too. But I think she's basically there to be a Slithery beater. And I don't guess that's such a bad thing. Somebody needs to get rid of Slithery Clinton. A poor little Rand Paul, help him. I think he's on his way out and he knows it. This is his last ditch effort to try to do something. As far as Rubio and Cruz, I see them as the 2 primo Latinos trying to out-Latino each other. That's what I saw there. Another person that sort of stood out to me, and if he can keep his composure and not do anything, nutty, I'm looking at old Christie. I mean, I admire the way whenever he's asked a question, he just comes right out at you. There's no hesitation. He's definitive. He speaks with specificity. I mean, he's really looking, kind of presidential there. And, I wish he and Huckabee were further up in the rankings because, if they can keep their little stuff together by Super Tuesday, Christie may, get my attention. Overall, it was kind of dull. They were talking about national security, which is not something that wouldn't have been touched on in a great degree because of what has happened in Paris and now San Bernardino, and with the 2 largest school districts in the country being threatened, having one being shut down here in LA, that would be at the forefront of the debates. But I'm looking at this presidential debate, folks, as I've really never looked at any other, because this one is kind of weird in as much as we've got all of these Muslims / Islamists and their extreme counterparts in the forefront looming over America now. Plus we've got 8 years of degradation of this nation by one bastard. I couldn't think of anything right quick, folks, other than bastard. And so it's like a weird, funky kind of tone being set in over this debate and what have you. I would like to see, and I know I never will, but I would like to see a little more cohesion between these candidates, because as I alluded to earlier, all of them have really good ideas, and in some form or fashion, I'd like to see all of them working within the government starting in 2017 when everything is solidified, because they've all got good ideas. If somehow they could get this bullheadedness that my idea is better than yours and your idea, if they could get rid of that and work to as Bernie would say, together, then I think the Republicans could pull this out and really be good at it. Trump's got fantastic ideas. I don't like his demeanor sometimes, but I never said the guy didn't have good ideas. That's what made me like him in the first place. He's got fantastic ideas. I don't see too much from Kasich. This guy, I think he's just a Trump hater. That's all I think. He hates Trump for whatever reason, and he tries to take a dig. Get a Jeb Bush out of there. He brings nothing to the table as far as I'm concerned. Get him out. Snarly Fiorina, I think she would bring good things to the table because she was within that Silicon Valley tribe, knowing how to get all these things together. That could be very helpful with maybe identifying people that come into our country or something like that. So I think she'd be good. Cruz and Rubio I don't care for at all. I don't like him. Cruz comes up with some good ideas. Who's the other fellow? Ben Carson, wonderful ideas. Great guy, love his temperament. I love the fact that he's not going to let them sway him into whatever. I think good material there. Christie, very definitive. Like I said, he's right on his game. He knows what he's talking about. Rand Paul, I think the jury's still out on him too. He looks like a person you just can't trust, And I think he's got these little race issues going on. I don't know if he's cleaned up his act as far as that's concerned, but I know back in, I think it was 2010 or so, I used to watch another program on telly, and it was sort of like a news program. He was having terrible problems with race. He let it be known that he did not like anything of the black persuasion, and he wasn't, very quiet about it. I haven't really looked into him that much because I wouldn't consider him for president, even if he did like black folks or whatever. It's just some people that, make your skin crawl and you don't want to be bothered with them. So that's my take on the debates last night. But before closing, I'd like to touch on something that kept coming up, and it keeps coming up as we talk about what we need to do as far as Syria is concerned, or what we may need to do as far as Iraq is concerned. Excuse me, I'm kind of choking up here. Let me get I got my whistle wetter here, just in case. I keep hearing this, and it's, to me, this terminology, I don't know where to get these stupid sayings that they come up with, but they're irritating as hell. And one of them is boots on the ground. I hate that saying. I hate that terminology. It's, to me, very disrespectful. It's unkind. It's unfeeling. And it's a disgrace. When you look at our service personnel that are out there fighting for our safety, fighting for our security, fighting for our freedoms and every American ideal that we hold dear, I think that the politicians and the news whores can do better by these wonderful people other than saying they're boots on the ground. No, these are human beings with feelings. These are human beings of honor because they're going over there and doing this country a grand service. So how dare you just refer to them as some inordinate, object is boots on the ground. There are human beings filling those boots that are on the ground. And how dare you belittle their stature by saying that? It's disgusting. It's disgraceful, and it's very disrespectful. Somebody's mother or father or brother or sister is out there fighting for your freedom, and how dare you refer to them as boots on the ground? You refer to them as what they are: soldiers, United States soldiers, service personnel that are helping our country. And they deserve to be referred to as more than boots on the ground. How disrespectful is that? For you politicians, how would you like to be called the idiots in the White House, or the idiots on Congress Hill, or the idiots in the Supreme Court, which would be very descriptive and spot on? You news whores. How would you like to be referred to as jackasses at the news desk? Or the jackasses that are on the ground out in the field trying to screw up a story? How would you like that? So I would hope that whoever's listening to this would take heed and stop that garbage. Because that's what it is, darn it, garbage. Boots on the ground. How disgrace. Have you ever heard anything so stupid?
Not in my life.
God. Anyway.
Ridiculous.
And when we're talking about those wonderful service personnel, just like to say from the Phil Taylor Jones Show, my executive producer, Chris, and I, how much we appreciate your efforts and what you're doing. We know that you're in adverse conditions and away from your families at this most wonderful time of the year, but you're still out there toeing the line, putting your lives on the line for us and our freedoms and our American cultures and ideals that we hold true. Good on you, servicemen and women, and we wish you a very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas. No PC crap here. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And all of the other celebrations that you want to think of. Good on you. Stay safe. And we here at home and at the Phil Taylor Jones Show applaud your efforts and thank you so very, very much. I think,
our hearts are with you here at the Phil Taylor Jones Show. And there was also maybe two other points I thought that might be good to hit on. That low blow they did to Ben Carson when they misconstrued something he said. And I think the audience booed the moderators when they did that.
Oh yeah, I think I did remember something like that.
And then how Trump called out that one moderator for saying that Trump said this, Trump said that, and he doesn't need time for that. That's very unprofessional, and I think he's doing that for ratings. That was another good thing too.
Yeah, Hugh Hewitt is his name. And you know, Hugh, I'm surprised at him because he used to be a longtime host on Life and Times. It was a PBS sort of news program where they talked about current affairs and political events and things of that sort. And he used to be very, very professional. He worked with a lady named Pat Morrison. She used to wear a lot of different kind of hats. And it was a really good program. And I think he's on radio now. And he's fallen from sugar to that other stuff. And yeah, Trump called him on it, and I don't blame him. They were even laughing and talking about how Trump said that he hopes that people would be nice to him, you know. Well, I don't blame him because ever since the guy's taken the stage as a political candidate, they've been nothing but crappy to him. I mean, he does get himself into some hot water sometimes, but that's part of who he is. He's not politically correct, and that's good. And he tells it like it is. And again, I say, Donald, you're dead nuts accurate about stopping these muzzies and these extremists where they stand because they're coming here to kill us. And these idiots, most of them, our own American citizens, are saying, "Oh, well, that's terrible. You're being bigoted towards them." So, okay, if Donald Trump is wrong for keeping them outside, then what are you saying? That it's right for them to come in here and kill us? What a bunch of idiots you are. So Right on to that, Donald. You're right on. I think
That's why it's good when he was saying, "I don't know why you're doing this when those people are killing our Americans."
right. I mean, it boggles the mind, folks, of how stupid people can be. Anyway,
Ben Carson.
what about Ben Carson?
Someone like low rated him, and you know.
Oh, he was talking about he was gonna leave the Republican Party and go independent, but he did speak with the spokesholes of this news consortium or whatever that put that out there, and they said that it was false, and that's why he's proud to stay with the Republicans and try to bring some class and some kind of decency and dignity to that party. Anyway, there are a few days left out there for those procrastinators who haven't gone and done their Christmas shopping. So get out there and, go shoulder to shoulder with them and get those good presents and things, or as our Australian friends would say, those prezzies, and, get all the stuff that you need to facilitate the very best of holiday. I don't know exactly whether or not the Democrats are gonna have a debate. I thought they were before the year ends, but if they do, we will be bringing our, views on that to you as well. And then there's the Christmas show, which will more than likely be our last show for the season. And we thank you so much for have been supporting us and have been with us all this time. And I'm going to jump off now so that you can go shopping. I think I might have a few things left that I have to do. And we want you to take care and stay safe. And we'll see you next time right here on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Get out there and shop now. Be safe. Talk to you later.